Hey folks, Phil Gallagher here for round 5 of Daily D&T. If you're enjoying the content, please consider supporting it in the future, and thank you once again to James A. and John L. for supporting this week of Daily D&T. We are keeping a pretty good opening hand. Not great if our opponent is playing combo, but if our opponent's on like a Delver deck or some sort of control deck or something like that, I really like the resources that we have. Unfortunately, opponent is mulliganing to 5, so that probably means we're playing against combo yet again this league, and our hand is garbage against combo. Let's not beat around the bush there. Big fan. You're on Daily D&T for next Friday. Also, take Giver of Runes out of your deck. That card's terrible. And I think we're going to play around an opposing Wasteland to the best of our ability here. We can't answer the Giver of Runes currently. We can answer it later, though. So, like, for example, we have his Palace Jailer in hand, and we can just use that to remove the Giver of Runes on turn 4, and then crash it with Jitte. Like, this card not being able to protect itself is so huge. So I can attack next turn. Because my opponent has this Giver, they might end up getting Jitte counters first. So I'm debating about whether or not I should just, like, play out some creatures and ignore my own Jitte for the time being. So, like, I can put my Jitte in, but I can't actually connect next turn due to their Giver providing protection. So accordingly, I'm just going to play a Crusader here. And I don't think my opponent's going to be saucy enough to, like, attack in with a Stoneforge or anything. But do I just want to hold this Thalia back anyway? No, I will just put it in now. The really interesting question is, do I actually tick up my Vial, or do I leave my Vial at 2 to put Thalia back in after it's presumably bounced at some point in the next 2 turn cycles? Yeah, we will leave Thalia. We will leave Vial at 2 now. Nice, I don't even need to show this for Schottenport yet. Play mom. We're just going to hold back all my creatures here. I am the pretty, pretty princess. Oh, that's... Mwah. Beautiful. So, I don't want to beat the dead horse here. But if my opponent did not have Giver of Runes in their deck, this would still be a game, and I would actually probably be losing. I can't overstate enough how bad I think Giver of Runes is. Alright, Ballista in, Needle in, Path to Exile is the maybe pile, Jailer is the maybe pile, Council Judgments in, Gideon is the maybe pile. So my starting point, of course, is going to be get rid of all of my Thalias and my Sanctum Prelate. From there, it depends on how many of these maybes I want to play. So the first question is, do I want to play 24 or 25 lands for this matchup? Caracas loses a lot of utility in this matchup. The redundant copies aren't great. But just, like, curving out on land drops is super important for any of the hands where you don't actually have Vial. Gideon on the draw is probably loose. Path and Jailer are both okay. Crusader's medium, but you want to keep some amount of first strike stuff around. I think I'm going to play the Jailer, but not the Path. This leaves me at 21. Okay. I cut a colorless land. I know this body can be relevant. No. I'm going to cut a Caracas. I know I still have the Mangaro lock, but the redundant copies of Caracas are pretty bad. I will be keeping this hand. It is bad against an opponent's Ether Vial start, though. So I need to hope they don't have that. So now the next hope is that they don't have Swords to Plowshares for Mom. Boy, I'm real good at calling them, huh? I'm behind enough on tempo where I don't think I can afford to play around them having a Mom or Giver end of turn. I think I just need to jam my own Stoneforge and hope the surprise of dropping in the Batterskull will catch my opponent off guard. Okay. Great. They did not have Mom. I honestly think my best draw might just be like a Council's Judgment to take this Vial off the table. Or this Jitte off the table. All right, what you got? Okay, if I don't play around Flicker Wisp, I can get a huge blowout. I'm gonna ham it up a little bit. Ouch. All right, show me Flicker Wisp. No Flicker Wisp. Ooh, buddy. All right, opponent says AFK a second. Away from keyboard. So Mirror Crusader and Flicker Wisp are kind of the two cards that I care about in this current situation. Again, Council's Judgment. Such an amazing draw. Like, taking that vial off the table, I think would mean that I win the game. So similarly, Pithing Needle would be fantastic. I am going to have to decide how all in I'm willing to go on this next attack. No worries. I'm going to get so savaged by a Flicker Wisp if my opponent has one. So the question is, like, if they had Flicker Wisp, would they have used it to save their Revoker? Mirror Crusader is also very bad. Very, very bad. Don't Flicker Wisp my germ. Fuck. Okay. So that's still bad, but it's not the end of the world. So what's going to happen is there. Ooh, that's actually a good draw. So I think I'm just gonna. Do I want to give them 4 Jitte counters or 2 Jitte counters? So if I give them 4 Jitte counters and then remove Jailer, a lot of this depends on, like. So essentially, blocking means that I just force them to use 2 Jitte counters on Stoneforge Mystic, which I think is fine. I'm really sad that they had another creature. Okay, so I play Palace Jailer, I exile Mother of Runes. I draw a card. I will need to draw Swords to Plowshares or Path to Exile to stop this Crusader. On the next turn, they will get their mom back, and I can try to exile it again. My Jailer is going to die immediately. I'm not going to get a chance to block with it. That just is what it is. But I think I need to start this game. So there are worlds instead where I can exile the Crusader, force them to attack with their mom. Okay, yeah, hold on. Let's think about this world. So what if I exile the Crusader? If they don't have a 3-drop, I force them to attack with the mom. That means the mom is tapped. They've used the 2 Jitte counters they have to kill Palace Jailer. They have 2 Jitte counters left. They get back Crusader. I remove mom then, but I've cost them 2 mana. I think I like that better. Again, we're playing towards high reward lines since my opponent is winning the Jitte war right now. Ugh. Super punished now. So I need something like a Council's Judgment. I think if I answer their Jitte in some way, I can take over this game. But if my opponent plays well, not even that is an out. So I'm going to hemorrhage bodies onto the board, hope that I can make something stick here. So my opponent will just Flicker Wisp their Recruiter, get another Flicker Wisp. And I'm pretty far behind. Yeah, like I said with his opening hand, we were very, very well off if my opponent didn't have File. So I am just dead next turn to Mirror Crusader aggro, depending on how my opponent uses the Jitte counters. I think I'm going to go ahead and throw in the towel here. Like I can try to wiggle and do some. Well, let's take one redraw here. A redraw for Council's Judgment is still not bad. Doors of Flashers? What's that do? Probably nothing. So, like, I can equip a Stone Forge. Yeah, the Jitte just invalidates too much of what's going on there. Alright, we'll go to a game 3. There was something I was going to think about when I was on the play. Oh, I was going to think about playing Gideons. I've played Gideons in the past with Mirror, and they've been pretty potent. But I think I'm going to submit as is and try to leverage Jailer instead. I don't think you have room for both Jailer and Gideon. This is a tough hand. I have removal for Mom. I'm probably stone cold dead to an Ether Vial. And I don't actually have any bodies to put on this Jitte. I think I'm going to ship this one. This hand is terrible. I don't think I can win with this hand. Yeah, we'll keep the 5 card. We're going all in on Ether Vial here. Which means I can't Pithing Needle their Ether Vial. Mirror Crusader here is not great. I'm going to ship the Pithing Needle. And we're going to try to leverage this to deal with their equipment if they have one, and then try to ride this to getting back in the game. But to be clear, I do not expect to win from this mulligan. Like, I will just lose to a Revoker or Pithing Needle on this file. I mean, even Rashadan Port. Well, I guess that exchange somewhat favors me. Sure. Land? Nope. So now even Flicker Wisp ruins me. Like, just land, Flicker Wisp, blink this Ether Vial is devastating. That's the kind of day it is, huh? I can tell you that I was not playing around Containment Priest. So you might ask, why did I not get Batterskull there? So I did not get Batterskull there because my opponent has 2 layers of protection currently, and just causing them to tap one of those, presumably Giver, since it's worse, doesn't really put me into a winning position. So, nice. So instead, I'm going to get something where if I get a flyer later, it does put me into a winning position. The real question is, do I actually cast this Council's Judgment this turn, or do I sandbag this? I think the answer is I cast it. I really wish I had ticked this vial up to 4 previously, though. Like, I could have done that on my turn to play into this exact line. But I tried instead to not telegraph that I had Jailer. Son of a bitch. Alright. That's all quite frustrating. As is that. So I think I need to hold this land for a turn where I actually need the mana. I expect this Revoker is going to get Swords to Plowshare immediately, since my opponent is like doing nothing else with their turns. We're going to name Giver of Runes here to try and break symmetry. So I have Moms, and they have Moms and Givers. By going and naming Giver, I force them either to just like remove this Revoker, or I make it so that my Revoker can eventually like get Jitte counters by attacking in. Yeah, that's as expected. So now am I playing a board out? Now I think that I have another one. I'll play one out. No, do they just top deck Jitte? So dead if that's the case. That's basically the same thing. Man, and another land, so I can't get to 4 mana on my turn. So my Rashadan Pork can't actually keep them off of mana, which sucks. Now I'll be hoping for a misstep from my opponent. Feels like they have another source of Plowshares, since they didn't just like hard cast the Jitte on their turn, although they could have also just been playing around Council's Judgment. So I need to draw a Walking Ballista, I guess. So I could take 5, 6, 7 this turn, play a Walking Ballista for X equals 2. Kill Mom and not Revoker. Nope, I think I'm dead here. GG's. That one was super unfortunate. Felt like I played that one pretty well, but my opponent having, like, 2 answers to my Vial when I was, like, on an entirely Vial-dependent hand was really devastating and backbreaking. You know, otherwise I feel like I ran away with that one. So we went 2-3 in that league, not feeling amazing about the list, but again, we didn't play against any of the stuff that I was expecting to play. All right, so if you enjoyed this week's Daily D&T, please consider supporting it in the future. It's $12 to support a week of these glorious, glorious videos. I'll see you all again next week.